because I will tell you the need is great. We're serving in organizations like Union Gospel Mission, and what we do is we shine when women are transitioning from this place. You see, when they come, the minute they arrive, the clock's ticking. They may have a year. In some circumstances, if they're children, they may have up to 2 years to totally revamp their lives and move forward. You see, they can come to a place of safety and freedom, but a lot of the last is about helping women live free over a lifetime. That's a different story altogether. Freedom, accessing freedom is one thing. Living free is something totally different. So we come alongside them and offer that relationship, that trust-based relationship. And today, I'm still connected with my mentee and have had the opportunity to actually connect with hundreds. Did you know that this is a critical time that you're here today? We have served 963 women up to date. Last year was a record with 120 women being served. This is the year, ladies, that we go over 1,000 since our inception in 2011. The reason we're able to serve in that capacity is because we have mentors, we have small group leaders that will take the initiative and drive week after week, some of them 30 to 45 minutes, in order to be boots on the ground, that entry space where women come into the program, and then our goal is to match them with a one-to-one mentor. And so our ask of you is that we are able to hire a new program director so that I can step into more of the fundraising side in order to assure the sustainability of a critical organization like Alive at Last. So we're excited about the opportunity to add a program director. The second part of our ask is for those small group leaders that travel week after week, and oftentimes they're actually providing some things. We provide curriculum, we provide the big party, we provide things at the end where they're graduating, they're receiving gift certificates saying they've completed the program. Why? Well, they need that for their probation officers. They need that for CPS so that they can get their kiddos back, or so that they can move forward with some of their parenting requirements. So our mentors help with those kinds of things. So the work of Alive at Last small group leaders being the entry point week after week. We actually have small group leaders that have served with us for, I believe the longest term she serves here, Stacy Silva's 13 years that she served, and she comes week after week after week and travel time that. So I would like to honor them and actually recruit. We need more small group leaders because there are organizations that were on the docket. They're like, when are you coming? Or some of them, because volunteers have been low. When are you coming back? When can we get you back on the schedule? Our women need mentorship. So I'll tell you about one young lady named Susan. So Susan entered our program, and they all have an application that they complete, which is really great for us. We get their cell phone numbers, and it provides long-term connection with them. So we're getting all their information and learning how best to serve them. They actually get a voice and what type of mentor is valuable to them. Sometimes it matters that someone is your same race. Sometimes it matters that you have someone that's not a mother figure. So they actually have a little bit of a voice where it comes to mentoring. So I met Susan, and she said, "When I have someone helping me get my GED, I have support with a counselor, but I've never had anybody talk to me about healing from my sexual trauma, from the rape, from the incest." And we're just so grateful for Alive at Last. So we have a unique spot that we fill, and that we come alongside women. We initiate that relation in the small group. We provide mentoring, trust-based relationship, Jesus with skin on for them for the long haul, for as long as they need it. And it's not going to take place oftentimes in 2 years. So they don't phase out of our program. We keep following them. We stay engaged with them. You might know it. So I'm thrilled today that you're here. I'm excited for you to hear from some of the women that are actually currently in our program. I want to introduce to you again Dr. Lynette Sim. She's going to come forward, and we have a panel for you. So thank you, ladies.
came on to Alive at Last 3 years ago. And in that role, I have a private practice as a life mentor. So what is a mentor? A mentor is not a licensed therapist. We're not a hotline. I'm not their mom. I'm not their teacher. I'm not their probation officer. I am a friend. Somebody who's been there, done that, have the t-shirt, don't want to go back, know where the potholes are down the road, and is able to help the women as they continue through their program. And so with Alive at Last, when women are in the small groups, they get an opportunity after the small groups to learn about mentorship, one-on-one mentorship. So when Gwen and I met together via some friends, she's like, we need a mentor director. And I'm moving into this role and we need some help. So we do training for mentors. So as volunteers come onto Alive at Last, they actually have to take sexual trauma training. They have to take, understand all of our small group information. They have to take boundaries training. So we do a lot of training for our volunteers so that they don't go in blind. Some of them may have sexual trauma in their background. So we make sure that they understand that they can talk about that. That's something that with Alive at Last, we get to talk about everything. We get to talk about all of the good that God created sex to be, and then all of the hardship that the enemy tried to rob from us in sexual trauma and abuse, trafficking, prostitution. We get to say those words and we're fine, which is really amazing. So that's what I love is doing the trainings, training our new volunteers, and then matching our ladies. And so as Gwen was talking about, I get to meet with all the volunteers because I help train them. And then I get to meet these amazing women. And then I get to talk to them. Tell me a little bit about yourself. And then it's kind of like a love match, you know? So I go, you know what? I think this lady would be really great for you. And this lady would be really great for you. And so it has been so amazing to put these women together and to see them flourish. Now, here's what happens. We have volunteers, so they have lives, and sometimes those volunteers' lives take over, and so some of our mentors drop away, and some of our mentees need a new mentor. That is what's amazing about Alive at Last is the mentors keep coming and coming, and so there's always another woman that wants to say, hey, I want to walk with you. I want to be there for you. And then some of our mentees, they have so much going on. Shelter life isn't easy. I mean, you have rules and regulations. You've got things that you have to get done, probation, CPS, you have to get a job, you have to be in the facility by a certain time, all the time, etc. There's a lot of stress. And so we want to make sure that when they're out of it, that a mentor gets to go with them. So I wanted to introduce to you some amazing women. Shauna is from one of our shelters in Fort Worth. Angela was actually here at Union Gospel, but she transitioned out of here and is now hanging out with Shauna over in Fort Worth. And then Allison actually is in our program. Now, Shauna's been with Alive at Last for over a year and a half. Angela is approaching that year mark, and Allison is our newbie at just about 6 months. So I wanted to take just a few minutes and let them share with you what Alive at Last does. But I have some questions. So, Allison, before connecting with Alive at Last, how would you describe where you were emotionally or spiritually?
I feel like I was very stuck. I was spiritually, I believed in God, but I didn't really know. I didn't really know God. I kind of believed in God the way the world believes in God. Like, oh yeah, I believe, but nothing's happening. And I think, before I came to a place like this, everybody was so like-minded and knew how to talk about me and how I was doing stuff. I'm much more open, not only closer to people, but.
Shauna, can you tell me maybe what would be some of the lies or beliefs you had about yourself that with Alive at Last you had the opportunity to break off?
Yes. Unless I was 40. You're going to get out of it. You're stuck. you're stuck, never gonna get out of it. Family, generational curses. My mother is my first hymn, and my reality of life is ancestral molestation. And moving forward, got a bad picker, picking the wrong guy, you know what I'm saying? And that's where the abuse comes in, you know, decades of understanding myself and then meeting these ladies that alive at last. Just coming, they came forward, they came straight at me. They did, they were like, oh, we're gonna fix you. We see everything about you, we're fixing it, girl, get rid of the generational curses and let's go. So, I mean, that's like the biggest part. And it's also for me to be able to, speak to.
What was the way, the first open door that you received, Angela, that helped you to say yes to it?
Okay, so I was here, I was living here, in Boston. And then one day Miss Wade came in and she offered this, small group, and this group had to do with, anyone being, having sexual abuse or any type of, being raped or anything like that of that nature, any type of abuse. And so, you know, I thought about it because at the time I believed that I had already healed from these things. And then I thought about it, you know, I'm like, Lord, is this something that I need to do? And, you know, I began to think about it. And then the answer was that if this is being provided for you, available, actually at no cost, you know, most likely this is probably something that you need to take, you know, this course. And so from there, I began to fill out this basically like an application to get to know everything that had been done in my life regarding to abuse. And so that's how I was introduced to a lot of that.
And so, Angela, what was it like to sit in that small group with others who understood the journey that you had been through?
You know, this was a really good feeling because throughout all of our lives, you know, there is always a time where we feel like we don't fit in, or, you know, maybe we're not pretty enough, tall enough, skinny enough, or whatever. You know, and so here, which is a very sensitive subject, you know, for a lot of us, you know, because a lot of us, this type of thing, we tend to prevent it. You know, we don't want to talk about it. But here's the time that the Lord allowed for me to actually heal wholeheartedly from the inside out. And so being able to be involved in a group like this, and it made me feel like belonging, you know, like I fit in, because here are other women that have this many things that, you know, the trauma that I've gone through. And so it gave me a sense of not feeling like not being alone, that I have people that is actually here that we can come together, speak together about what happened and grow together.
Shauna, you had mentioned earlier to us that you're using one of the tools that Black Class created called Anchor. It's created by our teammate Laura, and it's a way to study scripture. And how is using that tool? How has that helped you break free from that shame and isolation?
It's helped me with it. I love Anchor. Anchor is like you pick up a passage and you write it out. Then you write it out how you feel about it. And then you can take time to pray over it. You can take time to pray over it. Write a picture, you know, anything that's going to relate to you on how you're processing it. You know, because it's really getting back to your spiritual life, you know, catching on. You know, our friend Angela, she's anointed, so she can go, you know. But folks like myself, you know, the minute you really feel it, you know, and it hit me, and I was like, oh, these girls are out of sight. I mean, they come for a couple weeks, you know, and I'm really glad when they show up, because I know they're gonna root things in me that are gonna help me move forward. And it's really a great experience to know that they're there with their heart. Love it.
Allison, what has it meant to you to have somebody like my life advice mentor show up constantly?
It's been a lot. I did not grow up that type of consistency or support. I have complex trauma. It's not just sexual trauma, it's also child abuse and, you know, just not growing up very stable. And so to have a phone call at the same time that a person tells me there's going to be a phone call, to have follow-up, to have that care and love and support from someone, it means a lot. It has helped me to mature. It's been awesome.
How would you say mentorship has helped you build trust?
Being able to talk to my mentor. I've had two. I had a mentor and she fell off and it was kind of hard on me. It kind of messed with my emotional and mental side of myself, you know, with the thought you're gonna be there, but you're gonna, you know, do this for me. But being able to speak with the ladies and understand that, you know, we all go through things. But we're expressing ourselves and we're sorry this happened and we're gonna, you know, fill it out, we're gonna, you know, find someone else maybe. And it took me a minute because I was really close with Gwen and Miss Lynette, you know, and they were there for me. So I mean, I knew I could call and it wouldn't be a problem. You know, now I have the lovely Natalie over there as a mentor. And it was great because we just looked at each other. I'm like, why aren't you my mentor? She's like, I don't know. And then it turned out to be a really good marriage, you know. And it's the thing I like about it is they are going to talk to you. They're not, and they're going to listen. And I just love that part because it's just there's a feeling you get when you know you have a really good mentor and you know you have someone on your side. You know, as a female, as a woman that you can speak to and know that, you know, it's not going to be on the streets.
Angela, how has your view of your future changed now that you've worked with a lot of folks?
Honestly, like, everything has changed a lot. You know, for a while, I thought, you know, I didn't think that I would be able to heal, you know, completely, from the inside out after going through traumatic events, trauma, abuse, you know, molestation. Your life tend to, you know, be on a different level, you know, and you don't understand a lot of things, but after going through the class, the group, and things like that, I began to see that everything, you know, even though this wasn't good, this was the opportunity that the Lord provided for me to heal, you know, whole, because He wants His people, you know, His children to be healed fully. You know, He is a God of completion. And so He healed me from the inside out. And so now I can basically tell my story to people, you know, to let them know that even the smallest things, you know, that you're dealing with, you know, there might be times, things that you have suppressed and, you know, you don't feel like you can talk about it or you don't think that the Lord cares about it. But He is the God that cares about everything about each and every one of us. Doesn't matter how small or big. And so from getting that healing, you know, it's just it's a different view. I feel like I actually feel like I'm alive, you know, because at first it was like I felt like I was in this maybe like a bowl, you know, and I didn't fit in. Nobody knew what I was going through, or you know, they couldn't help me because I was one of those children that never had someone that I can count on or talk to even about my emotions. I didn't even know what a mentor was, until a lot of class. And so it really has helped me tremendously for my future, because not only am I healed, wholeheartedly, now I can speak to my children and make sure that they are healed. So it's not just my generation and passed down to my children as well. And so it's truly have to be blessed in my life.
Well, if either or Allison would like to ask this one, because Angela already did it. What does this look like for you, Allison?
I mean, it looks like trusting more, being more open, sitting in front of a crowd and not growing up into a ball and just, knowing that I have support and help and that I can do this. I have God, He gives us the strength to do this. And we have each other
I'm lucky because Allison's my mentee.
My strength, when I was used to, realistically, when it comes to me, I'm the last of my family. It's just my mother and I. No children here, 55 years old. So, it's about get back. It's about your my internal self, and how I live here and have happiness before I leave here, and also to help others, and I've always had that in me, but the design of how to do it came from these ladies, and I just love it. It's just so encompasses it encompasses every part of someone that has been trafficked. Domestic violence, trafficked by my mother when I was younger, but domestic has been huge for me and my life that's I've gone on. And to know that I can help somebody, I can be a volunteer, I can move forward with this, and really have a voice to help somebody else, and it's just a beautiful experience and feeling for me, I volunteer in the Mighty app, they have all the training. So I am going through it slowly. We do groups, and with my mentor, she's helping me. But I think it's just gonna be great for me to have a future with Alive at Last. And it excites me. Yeah.
And that's something that I really love with the women that we serve. A lot of them get to a place where they want to literally reach back and help the next one. So Alive at Last isn't just helping them and letting them go. It's really empowering them to heal so much, like myself, as a child of sexual trauma from the age of 9 to 15. I too am able to go, I'm 5 steps ahead. Let me tell you how to get where you want to be. And Shauna gets to come back and be a mentor. Leanna came back and was a mentor. Those of us that have been there, we know what it's like, but it doesn't take that. It takes somebody who really, really just wants to be open about who Jesus is and what Jesus can do. Open about that you can walk through this, with your head held high. These women and myself who've been through some horrible things are able to say, not today, devil. Because look at us now. We're here right before you saying, we can, we will be the hands and feet of Christ. And it's because of women like you, it's because of the 100 shares, it's because of the donors that help with Alive at Last, the volunteers, the Mighty Network, the women that write books to help us, for giving forward, mending your soul, cherish, which is Polly Hemp's book, another woman who's been sex trafficked, reaching back and saying, we're not going to leave you behind. So we thank you so much. When Benny, all right, ladies.
Questions for me? Or yes.
We do, so, anybody can find this through aliveatlives.com, .org. And, there they can fill out an application either to be a volunteer or to receive our services. Once they do that, then we can go through their application, and then we can meet with them. We do have a network, it's called the Mighty Network. And in there, we have our secure Alive at Last, what do you call that, site. And so you only can get in there if you know us. Like there are no men. We talk about the Lord. It's like social media with Jesus on high. And yet we also have tons of resources. Finance, healthy boundaries, domestic violence, healing, sexual trauma, in a variety of different ways. You can network with all the other women. We have other ministries. We have safe houses there that they have their own little cluster in there. We have ministries that are working with us that they have their group in there, all dealing with sexual trauma. So it's a really safe place, and you have to be invited.
Anybody else? Yeah, that's a great question. How do other organizations find us? We have a long-standing relationship here and at many of the places where we're serving. And so the women find us because we come to them. We're here. And so we're initiating a relationship with them. So we actually find them because of our small group connection. We do have women, typically, I think it was in 2023, we had a record number of women that found us outside. It was either by a woman that had transitioned out, and so she has contacts, right? And so women that just connected with us said, I need help. So they find us also, we're pretty high in SEO, whatever that means, the search engine. So that being alphabetically, they find us that way too. So sometimes it's just they're initiating, needing help, that type of thing. Good question. Anybody else? Yes.
Just following up on that question, so a woman has to be searching for you.
Unless she's in a residential program, and we initiate invitation to them because we're coming here, to initiate relationship with women who've experienced any type of sexual exploitation. But they can find us if they're just looking for help. They can find us, on the search engine. A lot of people are searching for answers, and they can find us that way. But for the most part, we initiate the relationship in the residential programs where we're bringing small group and mentoring.
And is that because you want a program that's mentoring them? Because I guess I'm like, why aren't you put signs up at the bus station or kind of more an outreach approach?
Yeah, that's a great idea. One thing that's really nice about a collaborative relationship like this is the women are clean. We've had outreach. The organization started by working with food truck people that on the streets of Dallas just to meet prostitutes. But we found that it was difficult because they were high. They don't have any place to live, and they just want some food for the night. If you've never experienced trauma or been homeless, it's kind of hard to imagine. But they can't think about what are your goals. My goals? Hey, I just want food. You got any money? That's it. And so for that reason, we're a transformative organization. And so we need women, we want to meet with them when they're clean. What we would do is if we found, had the opportunity on the streets, we've still got to refer them to rehab. Because there's no movement forward unless you're clear-headed. And you've got a place to actually think. When they're in a residential program, you got 3 meals a day. You're clean. If you need medication, the medication's taken care of. And so you have an opportunity to actually think about, how did I get here? How am I going to move forward? Which is important because the statistic is that women cycle back into a lifestyle of sexual exploitation up to 7 times before they're ever heard of again or whatever. So I don't know, is Alive at Last number 2? Are we 3? Are we 1? So that's the deal. They're gonna cycle back into that unless they have different connections. You and I was raised, I knew how to find answers to my questions because of conversations I had around the dinner table with my parents in middle school. When you're working with women who've never navigated and they've only sold their bodies, or they've been in situations where they had to just survive, it's a whole different thing. And so there needs to be a level of clear-headedness and safety so that they can think, all right, I'm going to move forward. And I will tell you, because 50% or more every year, last year 120, 50% or more every year of the women we serve have young children in their custody. It's a huge motivator. So if we meet women, that they don't have their kids with them or whatever, sometimes finding the motivation and strength to rebuild your life is just overwhelming. So we're meeting them at a place where there's a level of safety so that we can empower them. Our sweet spot is emotional and spiritual intervention. I'm telling you, ladies, if you come to know Jesus, if you got that, and you have one healthy person that can help you navigate that big world out there are resources, but they don't know about it. If you can have Jesus, and you can have a person in your life to help you navigate huge movement forward. And here's our statistic. Alive at Last, each of these ladies that you heard have experienced more than one small group, and then that also been matched with a mentor. When women come through our program, we have an 88% success rate. So they're not going back into that lifestyle typically because they have had some transformation. There's been a place of safety. It's really, it replicates oftentimes a safe home setting because you've got family, you've got people, you've got layers of support. Last week you can go into our online platform and navigate, ask questions. Yes.
How many residential programs are y'all part of?
So we have 14 partners. We're not in all of them today because we need more volunteers. When you've got an organization that's just restricted to volunteers for the most part, one-time staff, there's limitations there. But at any given year, we could serve up to 14. But right now, we're currently serving 12.
So that seems like a lot.
It's a lot. I will tell you.
Actually, pretty much just 4 of y'all.
Yes, yeah, they're part-time.
And then, just so you guys know, our mentorships, it doesn't matter where you are. We have mentors down in Houston that serve ladies here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We have people down in the Waco area, Tyler area. In fact, our Tyler mentor, she wants to actually go into the shelter there. So hopefully we'll be able to provide her with all of the tools she needs as far as books and whatnot to start a small group down in the Tyler area. We have mentors in Florida, 2 of them there. We have mentors in North Carolina. We have one there. She's actually has gone into a safe house and has brought Alive at Last there. Yours truly, unfortunately, left Texas, and I now live in Colorado. So guess where I am going to be going? So Alive at Last is trying to actually expand with our mentorships and getting into shelters, not just in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Because with Alive at Last, it is so portable. The small groups you go into, you start that intimate group, but that mentorship can go anywhere with the Mind Network and with your mentors. We thank the Lord for technology for a lot of great things, and mentorship is one of them. So these ladies, I have one mentor, she's a trucker. That's her job. And so she goes and shares about Alive at Last when she's at truck stations. So when you guys brought that up, it is something that one of our mentors does, but she could also meet with her mentee anywhere. And so it's just one of the amazing things that we can do with Alive at Last.
We are a Dallas-based organization, however. We started here as our inception. And so that's where, again, ranking number 2, our partnership that we did have one based out of Houston. Because they asked us to come, wanted me to speak because it's a church that just wanted to get involved in solving the trafficking issue. So that's how we met with that one mentor that got engaged with the program. It's really interesting. how the Lord has helped us navigate where our small groups are specific to residential programs, right? That works. But then our mentoring is virtual, and so that's where we've had women they attend our trainings and they're like, can I be a mentor? I know I live in North Carolina, but can I be a mentor? So that's been really valuable to have the mentoring be the virtual piece of our program. Anybody else?
Can you expand just a minute on the Dallas #2, what that means?
Yeah. So Houston, being close to the port, ranks #1 for the sex trafficking issue. Probably overall human trafficking. You know, there's a difference. Sexual exploitation trafficking is the use of force, fraud, or coercion. What would that be? Like coercion. I thought it was my boyfriend. To obtain a sex act. When there's money exchanged, then it becomes trafficking, the use of force, fraud, or coercion. So Houston ranks #1 in the state of Texas for that. And then Dallas, because of the I-35 corridor, we rank #2 for the trafficking issue. So that's the urgency that remains here in Dallas for us to take action and expand our program. Did that answer your question?
Yes, dear.
So, consider 12 residential.
Yes. Yes, so Salvation Army. Do you know of Poema? It's a safe house. Hope House, you may have heard of that. There's a transitional home, Good Girls. Most of them that's the one transitional home that we serve. They have a little bit more autonomy of their second phase. And then Unity Gospel Mission Fort Worth, Unity Gospel Mission Dallas, Salvation Army, both Fort Worth and Dallas. Exodus Ministry has been a long-term partner for us. Yes, yeah. Anybody else? It can be 1 year. It does vary according to the organization. And I will say, a lot of times those that like Unity Gospel Mission, and then Salvation Army also has a residential program that includes children. If there are children involved, there's a little bit more leeway, and they'll give more time before those women have to transition out. So it might be for them that it could be 2 years, but typically year and 3 months, it's fast. It's fast. Anybody else?
That's how long we have to get them. Well, they're here. Yes.
And then it's, women in a residential program, join the small group. How long is the small group? What's the duration of the small group?
The small groups, depending upon which book they're going through that time, can be anywhere from 6 to 9 weeks. So, and they meet once a week. And then, so it's 9 weeks, but then they do an intro, and then we always do a party, certificates, celebrate that they accomplished something, went through the book. So anywhere between 6, 9 plus some fun.
And then we ramp up and do the next group. And then we ramp up and do the next group. So we stay engaged with, it's a real valuable thing. We gain relationships with those that are on staff here. Patrice Denny, who's the executive director here, she called me one day and she said, whenever you guys are here, all I have to do is just walk right by. I'm like, okay, I'm not active here. I don't have to wonder what you're doing or what you're teaching. So we have a really great collaborative relationship with the partner sites where we serve.
And then one other thing that we're starting this year for the first time, Live at Last is going to be doing a sexual trauma retreat. Lakeview Center over in Waxahachie, they are letting us use their facilities. And so it will be a secure place so that we can talk about sexual trauma. We're going to be able to bring the ladies in shelters in for free. And hopefully also anyone else who wants to learn more or heal more dealing with sexual trauma. And so that's going to be a 3-day event.
One more minute.
What percentage of those that are in the residential programs do you find? Is it?
Out of the 120 last year, every application. So it's 100%. Last year, sometimes we'll have 2 applications where they don't identify as having sexual trauma, and then they get their small group adopt. Is that what that was? They didn't even know they were trafficked. So we give voice so that they can actually identify things in their life. So that is our population.
The national one is 1 in 4 women have experienced sexual trauma. So look around. somebody here already has. And then for men, it used to be 1 in 10, but now it's 1 in 7 for boys. So it's prolific. And then, of course, technology is amazing, but it's also very hard to deal with.
Ladies, we want to thank you. It's time for you to go.
Yeah.
Out of the meetings, last thing would be thank you that you are a mighty God, that you pierce through the deepest darkness of life. Thank you for allowing class. Thank you for the vision that you gave Alyssa. Thank you that she said that from heaven watching you multiply your work and bring redemption and healing. I would pray for a blessing to all of those organizations. The vision would be there. And that the healing would be so apparent, and these women would be able to move through and see you, glorious light, and discover your love and see that you are always with them, that you never leave them. Thank you for the hands and feet that allow you to provide to show the glory and to show your presence as the great one who never sleeps or slumbers, who will always rescue. Thank you. In Jesus' name. Amen.